Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode of to be whole. So glad to have you here on today as we come down to the culminating conversation regarding what whole means. That's to be whole, W.H.O.L.E. Before I go into it, I just want to share that I do have my coaching certification, and for those of you who want to connect with me so I can support you down your journey of life, I would love for you to reach out to me at otobewhole@gmail.com. That's OHTOBEWHOLE at gmail.com. Also, every week, every Thursday, I will be dropping a new video around 8 a.m. That's Central Standard Time. So you can expect to hear from me every Thursday around 8 a.m. And I hope you join in to join this conversation. So I'm just super duper excited about coming to the end of just learning about to be whole. And then we'll go into more conversations. I'm just super excited about it. So let's go into the last letter of whole. Let me run through what we've learned already and what we've talked about already. 1, W means welcome growth. H means heal from your trauma. O stands for optimize every opportunity. L is for love yourself and lean into your talents, gifts, and passions. And then lastly, E stands for eternal perspective. When I talk about and think about eternal perspective, to me, that is like the apex of everything that we've been discussing up to this point. It's like the very thing that connects all that we need to do in terms of being whole, or it sets the expectation around being whole. You know, when you think about being whole, being complete within yourself and making sure that the journey that you're walking here on earth is in purpose and on purpose. You're walking in your purpose. You know, you're walking in your passion. You know, you're walking healed from your trauma. You've optimized every opportunity that's been presented to you. You have welcomed growth in your life. The last thing is having an eternal perspective, understanding that after everything that you've gone through in life, every valley, every mountain top, every good experience, every traumatic, horrifying experience you may have had in life, that is not the total sum of your life. That there is something that you can expect at a later time that's beyond this life. That gives me so much comfort. I don't know about you, but that gives me so much comfort and so much peace to know that, you know, after the hard days of living in this world and, you know, losing people that you love and, you know, people being sick, you being sick, losing jobs, you know, being a victim of a crime or whatever has happened to you in life, whether it may have been your fault or maybe not been your fault. But after all that's said and done, if you have positioned yourself, and for me, you know, that's accepting Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. I don't know what that is for you, but for me, that gives me the eternal perspective that I need to have, so that it puts everything in the proper perspective. You know, you don't get caught up in the isolated events of your life. You don't get caught up in just what is happening. You know, you don't have to fear the future. You know, there are so many people who are afraid of the future. There's so many people who are afraid to die, you know, because they don't have an eternal perspective. The other side of that is when you don't have an eternal perspective, you don't have the proper view on time. You know, people who don't have an eternal perspective don't recognize the importance of time, that we are only here for a limited time. The rest of today is not promised to you. Tomorrow isn't either the end of this week or next week is not promised to you. So you must maximize your time, knowing that if you don't do what you need to do, or don't at least try to get started on what you need to do or your life's purpose, you've wasted so much time. And when you meet your maker, when you get to the other side, will you meet him in peace? Will you meet him, as some people say, completely emptied out, doing or have done all the things that he has called you to do? Another thing that people who don't have eternal perspective in the right view is people who don't do what they know that they're supposed to do, which is connected to time, but they don't love like they should love. You always think that, they get it. I do this, that, and the other, and that expresses my love and my actions. Let me ask you, when was the last time you told your significant other, when you told your spouse, when you told your sibling, when you've told a close friend that you love them? When was the last time you did that? You're going to be held accountable for not doing those things. I like to call it, and people don't see it as abuse, but when you neglect to do the things that you know you should do, such as telling somebody something as simple as I love you, or telling somebody I appreciate you, even the power of telling somebody I'm sorry, I apologize, I was wrong. Those are things that, when you know, especially those of us who are believers, know that we have to give an account for our life. You want to be able to say that, Lord, I did everything that I was supposed to do. I apologize. I forgave. When have you told somebody that has offended you, I forgive you? Even if they don't receive it, even it's not up to them to receive it, or it's not your decision to make them receive it. It's up to you. It's your job to let them know, or to say those words. And I just felt like, when I'm thinking about wholeness, there is a comfort, as I said before, and a peace of mind that you can have when you know that this life does not end when you take your last breath. When you take your last breath on this earth, are you really considering and thinking about what is for me on the next side of my final breath on earth? I've experienced so much loss, losing both of my parents before the age of 15, lost a awesome nephew, lost a host of cousins and close friends, and even most recently my uncle, and then my one of my closest confidants, my brother Kevin. Those are hard losses when you lose people who are close to you. But the peace that I get even in that, the eternal perspective that I take even in that, knowing that those who died in Christ, I will see them again. I will see them again. I will be reunited with my mother, my father, my grandmother, my brother, my nephew, all of those loved ones who went on before us and are now in the presence of the Almighty. I have peace in knowing that I will see them again. I have the eternal perspective that I have taken care of my business on this side to secure my space and my place in heaven. Have you done that? I don't know. You may be watching this. You may not even believe in God. You may not even believe in Jesus Christ or any of that. And it's not my job to try to convince you differently. But I'm telling you about me and how I've chosen to walk my life out, and what has worked for me. I remember my sister Kia asking our mother. She asked her. She was like, "But Mama, what if after all you've done and everything that you've done on earth, there really isn't a heaven? There really, everything that we've believed, everything that we've been taught about, heaven and God and Jesus, what if that's not real?" And my mother's response to her was, "Even if it's not real, it was all worth it. It's been all worth it." Even though I know for a fact, in my spirit, because I've had an encounter with God that, eternal life in heaven is my next destination after I take my final breath. But even if it's not, it's all been worth it, because it has brought me so much peace in the midst of so many hard times. Even as a young girl, the hard times of not, having low self-esteem, not loving myself, the many losses that I endured, just not being secure in who I was and what I looked like, my imperfections, all of those things that made me just raw, that made me just dull down on the inside. Though my eternal perspective, my faith and belief brought me out of those things and have brought me even to the place where I am even right now. Even right this very moment, those things led up to where I am right now. And I thank God that he gave me the mind, because everybody does not have the mind to want to change. Everybody does not have the desire even to change and want to do different. We can use excuses all day long. I learned this while I was pledging my sorority, Delta Sigma Theta sorority. Ooh. Excuses are monuments of nothingness. They build bridges to nowhere. Those who use them are incompetent and weak and masters to no one. And I have lived by that, because we all could make an excuse. We could all say, well, I didn't have a mama, I didn't have a daddy, or I was abused, or, I went hungry, or I didn't have this, I didn't have that. Everybody got a story. Everybody got a story. Everybody has the opportunity to give an excuse. I was bullied, I was talked about. Whatever it may be, everybody could use an excuse not to want to grow in life, could use an excuse not to heal from their trauma. But I just challenge you today, get up off of those excuses and do what you know you need to do. Some of y'all are about to lose lose your job because of an excuse. Some of you are about to lose your family. Some of you all have already lost relationships because of those excuses. So I just want you to know that don't allow excuses to put you in a place where you stay the same and not realize the eternal and not have an eternal perspective on life, understanding that you are going to give account for your life. You're going to have to give account for your life. And I want to be able to stand before my maker and at least, I may not have done everything I was supposed to do, but I want to be as close to possible as to doing that. And I want the same for you. So change your perspective on life. Quit looking at the here and now. Quit looking at the past. Quit anticipating the future, and understand that there are things that you can do right this very minute that could change the very trajectory of your life and the lives of the people all around you. Does that not excite you? Should that not ignite you to do what you need to do? Yeah, it could be scary, because you have to, face some truths about yourself and admit some wrongs and go back and right some wrongs with some people. But don't let pride keep you from doing what you need to do for your life, because your life will only be better once you get on the other side of that fear, once you get on the other side of those excuses. Again, change your perspective. Change your perspective so that you can live a whole life, a W.H.O.L.E life, so that you can just say, oh, to be whole. That's where that O-H and O, that was like a groaning in my spirit, where I knew God had taken me to a different place in him, and just in life, and in my view of myself, and the value of my life and the value of myself, and not allowing a man to give me identity, not having a husband to give me identity, not having biological children to give me an identity. No, I can be whole within myself, knowing, God, that the gifts that God gave me can make me whole, knowing that the value that he has placed on me makes me whole. And I am just eternally grateful for the awakening. I am eternally grateful for being able to just live a life of freedom, not being enslaved by my thoughts, not being enslaved by what other people think about me. Lord have mercy, I'm about to shout now. Don't you know I will. You know I will. But I'm just so passionate about wanting to push you to believe and do the same thing. You can do it. You can be whole in your life. Don't believe the lie. It's all a lie. It's a lie. What do they call fear? Fear is something appearing real, false things appearing real, or something. I can't recall exactly what it is, but anyway, don't allow the fear to captivate you and keep you from moving, keeping you stagnant, keeping you in a place of depression and sadness and loneliness of heart. It ain't worth it. It's not worth it. If God still has you here and you've been kept here, there is a purpose for you. There is yet still more for you. You have not run out of gas yet in this life. There is more that God has in store for you. And there are people who are waiting to benefit from what you have to offer. But as long as you sit back and don't allow your life to really come alive and living in your passions and living in your purpose, you're missing out on life. And so many other people are missing out on your gift and your passion. So I just challenge you today. Get an eternal perspective. If you don't have an eternal perspective, it's a good chance you're probably not living in your full purpose. So please just take the time to understand that there is a point in time where you will have to give an account for your life. And it is my hope and prayer that when you give that account, that you can stand before your maker and say, God, thank you that there was an awakening in me where I was able to identify my purpose and live on purpose and live in the divine design you created me to be. And you can ultimately say, oh, to be whole. Oh, I am whole. God bless you so much. I look forward to our next talk. I hope that you have a better understanding of what to be whole is all about. Will be talking about some love and relationships, and even as other things come about, topics come about, I will be sharing those as well. Please put in the comments if there's something that you think you would like for me to try to touch on. Please add those to the comments, or you can send them to me via email. That's whole@gmail.com. Again, I am a certified life coach. Would love to connect with you, to walk you through your journey and be a thought partner with you in this process. Also, remember, every Thursday, I will be putting out a new video around 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. So I hope you join me. And if you don't get to join me at that time, hopefully you'll watch the replay. All right. So again, if you haven't already, subscribe, like and share. And to my holy rollers, this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning, holy rollers. I appreciate you sticking it out with me and hanging in there with me and being attentive. And I just appreciate you and looking forward to what's next. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you. God bless, and we'll see you next time.